Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone, and glad to see you all. Folks, the experience that I'm about to tell you about, I would not wish it upon anyone. This harrowing and almost tragic experience that happened to me back in the year of 1996. And it was a great year, you know, comparatively to now, these days. These days, back then we didn't know Stephen Harper. Back then, the bubble in the St. John's Harbour was oozing up. Everybody thought it was just such a wonderful thing, you know, tourists were attracted to it and they took pictures of it and they thought it was a natural phenomena, and all the gulls were growing so huge and everybody was loving it, and the city was promoting it, and the government was promoting it, until they came along and finally put a stop to it. And during that year also the Rolling Stones came out with their first defibrillator. So, it was during that year that a group of us finally decided to, hey, let's take a trip across Europe, you know, and let's do the backpack thing, and 1 month, and let's cover as many countries as we can, and we don't know where we're going to end up, where we're going to wake up each day, and that kind of thing, right? So that's what we did, and so. Okay, in the middle of it all, I'll pick it up in Greece. So we were in Greece. That's not where we started off from. Okay, we started off in Greece and took a, I don't know how many hours trip to Italy, and then in Italy we got to Venice and spent 3 hours in Venice, and I gotta tell you, I went right to my neck in a cab in Venice. Okay, so then from Venice, we went on to Salzburg, Austria. And there, we discovered that Neil Young was going to be playing for a concert there in the next couple of days, and Pearl Jam was going to be opening for them, so we figured, hey, we can't miss that. So we decided to hang around Salzburg, Austria for the next 2 days in the home of Mozart and all that stuff, you know, the genius musician, and so we said, let's do our thing there in Austria. So the next day, we decided to take a little jaunt from there to Munich, which is about 100 kilometers away. You know, a nice little hour ride, commute kind of thing to Munich. So we got on the train and headed off to Munich next morning. And here we go, and next thing you know, Mother Nature starts to kick in and trying to tell me something. So I said to myself, I guess I better go on back to the washroom and clear this up. I did, and I couldn't find a washroom. And a certain amount of concern popped into my head right away, all right? Because the contractions were getting more pronounced as time went on. This was happening rather rapidly. And maybe it had something to do with the raw cheeseburger that I had the day before. That's the way they cook food over there, very, very raw. And that's the way my stomach felt, very, very raw. Let me tell you, if I was on Pat Sajak and Pat, let me buy a bowel, okay? Because I got no room left in this one. And she's about to blow, Pat. Okay? So I can guarantee you, it was getting darn serious. The contractions were... And I went to the conductor and said, is there any toilet on this train? And he just says so sadistically to me in a German accent, no, there's no toilet on the train. and So here I am. on this train full of commuters, you know, everybody's in a three-piece suit or whatever, you know, off to work and reading their newspapers, and here I am just looking at everybody like this, and how's it going, you know, and trying to hang on there the best I can, and finally I thought, oh, I don't know if this is going to last. Is the worst possible outcome going to happen on this train while I'm traveling to Munich with a pair of shorts on and a t-shirt and a backpack and everybody else is dressed in a suit? Is that what's going to happen to me? Did I deserve this? But I hung on until Munich. We got there. We got there. And I got off the train. I took off, man, like they thought I stole something, and I booted it down over the steps, and I said, oh, washroom, there it is. I got to the door, and lo and behold, you have to put money in the door to get in. And like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? So I put money in the door. I didn't have money, actually. I had to run up and get the Bureau of Exchange money. I was in a lineup up there going like this to get the money, and I ran back down. I finally got the money, and I put the money back in the door, and I said, oh God, if this don't work, I don't know what's going to happen, because the contractions are just going crazy, going mad now at this point. And put the money in the door, turn it. It didn't work. Okay, I said, this is it. I'm done. She's gonna come one way or another now. So I said, I looked up, and there was a space between the top of the door, and so I said, I'm going over the top, and there was a whole bunch of businessmen there with their briefcases laid down by the urinals, and they were watching me just climbing over the top, and I went in over, and I finally made it to the toilet. And you know what? It was just like that scene in Dumb and Dumber, where the guy is just so, what a relief. But if you ever need to do this, folks, think about it, because the only thing that you'll ever think about is depends. Thanks.